Okay, so I came to this random place to charge my car, so don't mind the Del Taco in the back. But before I get into the story about this random Maga guy walking up and sitting down next to me at a casino last night, let me give you guys a little backstory about myself, because I think you guys see me, you know, on these videos, and for the most part, I'm talking about serious topics, so I'm being pretty serious. But in real life, I'm a goofball. I really don't take life very seriously, because here's the thing. If I did, reading through all this information that I'm reading through, talking about the topics that I'm talking about, I would be a stressful mess if I were that way. So a lot of times I turn this camera off and I don't think about the things that I just talked about, and I don't think about the next topic until I'm in my mindset to go looking for a topic or to discuss a topic. So for the most part in my real life, I'm a goofball who likes to have fun, who does not take life seriously. So that being said, I'm here in Temecula. Some of you guys were asking where we are. We're in Temecula. We decided to come out, a little couples trip, to meet up with a guy who lives in this area, who is a single guy. I know the people I'm here with because when I was like 28 and they were 18, I was their trainer. They were college football players and I was training them. And then they both basically opened up gyms. And I've always been there as a mentor for them and whatsoever, and we became friends. So 20 years later, you know, I'm 50, they're 40, we're all friends. And that's kind of a part of the story, because these guys are only 40. They're actually about to turn 40. And they look a little bit younger than they are. So I'm assuming that this guy also thought that I was younger than I actually am. And excuse the noise if we hear any cars going by, because obviously I'm at a place charging and there's a big street next to it. But so we decide to go downstairs and do some gambling, right? And our wives stayed upstairs in the room. They just felt like chilling. They didn't feel like coming down and gambling or anything like that. They wanted to chill, have some wine, watch some TV, talk or whatever, right? So they did that. We go downstairs. We're doing a little bit of gambling, right? So we're at this table, and mind you, like, my friends are to my left and there's the dealer, right? So my entire my energy is forward and to my left with my friends, you know? And so I'm sitting there and, you know, all of a sudden my friend goes, "Oh, snap, Coach D is about to speak." And I'm just looking at him like giggling, like, what is he talking about, you know? And he gives me kind of this nod, like, look behind you, basically, right? And I turn to the right and I see this dude in the red shirt, the red Maga hat. And I'm just like, oh, snap. And I just go, "How you doing, man?" And he's just like, "Hey there," you know? And listen, this guy was old, like very old, but he was very coherent also, right? So like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And someone in my comments said, I would have thought I was being punked. And you are exactly right. That's what I thought. I look at this guy and I'm like, who sent this guy? Like, who's doing this? There's no way, of all the seats in a casino, this guy would choose to sit down next to me, Coach D Speaks. So that was crazy, right? So we're sitting there and I'm thinking to myself the whole time, like, we play like a hand or two. I'm thinking, how am I going to play this? Like, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? And listen, I know some of you guys were like, did you roast him? Did you get on him? The guy was in his mid 80s. Like, listen, this stuff is serious to me. It's important to me, but I'm also going to always respect people, and I'm going to respect their space and all of that. Like, it would be like someone just walking up to any one of you and just going, "Oh yeah, I bet you freaking believe that kids should be able to have, you know, surgeries at school or something." Like, you know, like, you don't want to do that, and I don't either. And I'm just like, listen, here's how I coach, here's how I live. Everybody, even the guy wearing the Maga hat, has an opportunity to prove to me that they're not, you know, what I might think of them or whatever. But so we play a hand or two. At some point, the guy says, you know, kind of out loud, like, "Oh, you guys are going to have to get me a drink. You guys got to buy me a drink," just being dumb, right? And my friend just goes, "Yeah, I'm going to have to charge you a little extra for that. We can call it a tariff." And he goes, and we're like, oh, shoot. And then we're thinking, and again, remember, we're goofballs, and we had maybe a drink or two, right? So he does that. My friend does that. And the guy, who is very coherent, very, like, I keep saying this because I'm saying, like, for an 85-year-old guy who walked up with a walker, he was very, like cognitively there, right? As Donald Trump would say, I'm very cognitively there. So it was weird that my friend said that about the tariff thing. We're like, and the guy has no response really, kind of like he didn't get it, right? But then I'm thinking like, okay, this is how we're gonna play it. And again, like how you guys are saying, were you being punked or something? I'm starting to think that way because the guy is kind of feeding us a little bit, but he's not, and he doesn't know he is. But then there's this little part of me that's like, did he know? Because he would say stuff and we would go, like this guy at some point was like, you know, oh, I because of me getting that bus card, I saved you guys. You guys owe me some money. And I'd be like, oh, this guy thinks my money's going to trickle down to him. And then my friend would be like, oh, trickle down economics. And we'd be like, dapping each other up. Like we just said the funniest thing. Like if I could tell you what it was like, it would be like being in a Key and Peele episode, right? We're Key and Peele just thinking, we're like, having fun and stuff. And the guy who's feeding us the jokes doesn't really get them, right? I mean, there's one part in there, and I got to tell you about this other guy. So there's me, there's my friend, and my one friend hadn't sat down yet to play. So he's kind of over our shoulder, and there's a guy to the left of us. And I'm not sure what nationality the guy was, but he was speaking a different language, and I don't know for sure, right? It wasn't he wasn't Hispanic, it wasn't Spanish. It possibly could have been Middle Eastern. I'm not sure really, you know. It was just, the guy was just chilling, and he's cool as heck, right? And he's kind of like, you can tell he gets it what we're doing and what we're saying, but at the same time, he's also there to win some money. So while my friends and I are like, this guy's like, bro, are you gonna hit or are you gonna stay? Like, I'm trying to play here, you know? So like, he was giggling with us, but he was also all about being real. Like, there was one point where the Maga guy, he hits when he should have stayed. Like, I'm going to bore you guys if you don't know blackjack, but the dealer was showing 14. We all decided collectively, hey, we should all stay. Let's let this guy get a bus card. The Maga guy decides to hit. He gets the bus card. So he gets a 10, then the dealer gets a 6, and the dealer beats all of us. And we're like, bro, like, you're supposed to stand on that. So then the guy, you know, the guy who's not with us, he's like, you could tell that's when he was like, okay, y'all having fun and everything, but I ain't here to play. So he looks at the Maga guy. He's like, yo, you're supposed to stay on that one. Next time ask. Like, he wasn't playing at all. And the Maga guy was just like, whatever, you know. Like, the Maga guy was like having his own fun in a way, but like trying to engage with us. And for the most part, I'm not really trying to engage with the guy. I'm not going to ask him about his politics. It's obvious he's wearing the hat, right? But there's another point in there. I'm not kidding you guys. We were literally going with all the stereotypes, the MAGA stuff, trying to hit him with it just to see if he would engage, and he was not biting. At one point, he was like, oh, you remember that one hand where I helped you out, huh? You remember it? I'm like, yeah, I got a good memory. Oh, you got a good memory? I go, yeah, like person, woman, man, camera, TV, right? And he doesn't say anything. And then my boy's like, oh, that's because you got a big brain. And we're like, and the MAGA guy's just sitting there like, huh? Like he doesn't know it, right? There's another point. He says, this was weird. Like, the MAGA guy is like, oh, I did good on that one. You should give me a sip of that drink. Give me a sip of your drink. And I was like, this fool's trying to drink the Kool-Aid. He's trying to drink the Kool-Aid. Like, literally, we're goofballs. We're having a gang of fun thinking we're hitting him with all this stuff. And the whole time he's like, but he never, at no point did he talk about Donald Trump. Did he bring up his politics? Did he ask us ours? It was like he didn't know he was wearing that hat. It was literally like he did not know he was wearing the hat. At one point, he says, he tells me, yeah, I've been drinking like a pint of alcohol, way since I was like your age and stuff, and I'm thinking he must think I'm younger. I'm 50, like probably he was doing it before my age, but I was like, oh yeah, I'm like, man, you gotta be careful, a pint a day. He's like, yeah, but I'm Russian, so my liver is still beautiful or something like that. I'm like, all right, but he's got on the shirt that says, I'd rather be Russian. I can't remember what the bottom of the shirt said, but like, I can't even remember how many times we hit this guy with stuff and he just wasn't biting. And then at some point he finally decides to get up, and he leaves or whatever. And my friends and I are just like, holy crap, bro. Like, what are the chances? What are the chances that we're sitting here and that guy sits next to you, Coach D Speaks? Cause like, it's like a joke. It's like a funny joke to them, me being Coach D Speaks. Like, they throw it around a lot. Like, y'all don't know who this is. That's Coach D Speaks and all this stuff, you know? But at the same time, they know it's like my thing. Like, it is something that I do and that I take pride in and stuff. So, but like, you got to understand, like, we're goofballs. If you ever see me in a setting like that at a casino or whatever, you're going to see like the side of me that is just the fun dude who's not trying to take life seriously. Listen, I got a wife, 2 daughters. I need to be around for them as long as I can. So I don't like to take things too seriously, engage with people or anything like that. I know some of you guys might think, oh, you should have gave it to him, but 85-year-old dude. And here's the thing my friend and I said when he walked away. This guy with the Maga hat on, walking in with like a walker, with the wheels in front, and so he's pushing it, walking, barely getting around and everything. And I'm thinking, bro, like, the party, the guy that you're sitting here, like wearing, advertising for, loving on, that dude does not care about you. He's doing everything in his power to take away things that you are obviously in need of. Like, this guy probably needs the free health care and Medicaid and all that. And Donald Trump is taking it away from him, but he's wearing the Make America Great Again hat. And I kid you not, it was like the guy did not know he was wearing the hat. It was like he did not know he was wearing the shirt. We threw, I hope I got to most of them because we threw them all at him. Oh yeah, there's another one. There was one point where he says, yeah, I don't have enough money to play this bet as big as I want. I'm waiting for this money to come in or something like that. And I was like, oh, he's waiting for the Doge dividend. Again, like, I'm telling you, we must have hit him with like 10 of those, and not at no point did he say, oh yeah, Donald. Oh, there was another point. I keep on, this video should be over by now, but there's another point where I tipped the dealer, right? I throw him a chip, right? And I go, man, no tax on tips. And my friends are like, oh, no tax on tips. Dude doesn't say anything. The Maga guy says nothing. The dealer says, yeah, I'll believe that when I see it. Like, every one of us at the table were in on it. We were all in on it. We were all anti-Maga, and the Maga guy didn't get any of it. So it was all on deaf ears. The Maga guy probably left there, went home, and told the people at the retirement community, like, oh, I met 2 cool black guys and a Hispanic guy today. Like, he probably thought he was just having a great time with some guys who loved him, probably loved Donald Trump too. I don't even know, man. But you listen, it was a great night. Enjoyed myself. Actually, came up a little bit. You never do when you're at these casinos. That's why they're so rich, because you're going to lose there. But I had fun, came up. And I hope you guys enjoyed the story. It was just, what a night. What a night. Period.
Don't want no enemies or ops. Envy in they heart, I tell them stop. Vacation on the yacht.